Hello viewers. Well, yesterday saw as I record this, saw the November update for WRC 10, a game which continues to improve and evolve. It has always impressed me how the developers have managed to improve so many elements of the game every year, from the front end to the overall design, the physics and the amount of contents in the game as well. WRC 10 is the most complete WRC game there's ever been. It continues to grow and expand, and the recent update we saw in Belgium was impressive in so many ways. The environment, but also the foliage, the depth, the detail, the challenges that it offers that were unique in terms of, say, the cobblestones and various elements that were there. It continues to showcase the one-to-one stage design that we've been seeing since WRC 8 and impress in every way. And it's an exciting time when you're looking forward to these new rallies. I remember seeing Finland in an update in November last year, and how much I've enjoyed those stages, just doing them again and again and again. And yesterday I revealed obviously my very first look at the November 2021 update and my run through the Acropolis rally. 7 years since we've had the rally in Greece. It's back again. Hugely challenging, has to be said. The lumps and bumps, heavy stones, puts a lot of work onto the driver. It's hard work. It's not the most flowing rally, but it is one that's very technical in how to control your car and get it best through the corners, and actually requires quite a lot of practice to fully understand all of the elements and hook all of those different corners together, particularly how to throw your car into corners depending on the surface information that you're getting in terms of the type of tyres that you have on. The shakedown was a challenging stage, but it was a good way of getting you into it before stage one. Stage one of the rally was very much like you've seen, the modern version, if you like, you've seen from the anniversary mode. Challenging in several different ways as you go further up the mountain, so the surface texture changes and your tyres wear, and those last few corners are very challenging and very slow. As much as you want to go at pace, it's better to be smooth and consistent than to overdo it and fall off a cliff or smack into a wall or just tip your car and damage it along the way. A rally is a sport of attrition. You're pushing to the limit, but at the same time you need a little bit of space within that limit occasionally in terms of how you're controlling your car. You have a feeling that I want to go faster, but if you can't get that extra speed out, then you just have to give the best you can. When you try to force that extra speed, that's when mistakes occur, and Greece is a rally that will extract those mistakes from you. So we've seen the first stage before, then we're moving on to the next stage, which has this sort of red earthy style to it. You start high up the mountain, you're working your way down the mountain, and you're taking into account the deceleration. Initially I had a slight issue with the notes, but it was an understanding more than anything. You really need to get your head into gear in terms of the weight transfer of the car, the deceleration, going downhill, and how to, your braking distance is a little bit longer, you're turning in a bit earlier, you're getting a bit understeer. So very challenging, moving from different surface types, but the scale of this stage, the scale of this entire section continues to impress. Wonderful textures on the rock as well. We've seen that moving forward from the Argentinian and how that was moved forward. Really nice to see the overall scale and ambition here. There's no pop-up in that sense. You can see for miles and miles, and it really is an impressive scale to proceedings. It's the sort of stage we sort of dreamt about years ago, and how that would have been done years ago is simply they'd have walled it with rock and trees all the way down. You'd never have had the kind of views that you're getting here in quite the same way. In fact, when I'm thinking as I talk to you now, the first game to achieve anything remotely that had extended views was WRC on the PS2 by Evolution Studios, and back then that was a technology breakthrough. So what we're seeing here really is impressive technology in what Kiloton are doing and how far they've moved forward. I'm going to look at that later on a later date in another video. Amazing steps forward. So working your way through the mountain and then round the bottom area, The road becomes, again, the surface texture changes. The road, the type of rock and dirt works differently on the tyres. The tyres wear. It's very challenging. You do need to throw the car in at speed to maintain that level of competitiveness and performance, but at the same time you're mindful of getting on the power, of controlling the car. You need to be constantly in control, and this stage is demanding, it's relentless. You really need to keep your focus. One of the most exhausting stages I've played. Moving on to the third stage, and this really is the road of the gods, if you like. It really is one of the most challenging stages I've played. It combines elements that I've seen in other locations in a way. I think of Turkey as a good example. Turkey, Argentina, it's twisty, it's challenging, but the hill is so steep that the angle of ascent is unlike anything I've rallied before. It's hugely challenging. You've got to get the car into the right gear, get into those corners. You've got to be aggressive yet precise on the twisty bits. Wonderful challenge. This is the kind of technical challenge that really pushes drivers. There are narrow elements through the canyons. The road is barely a car wide at times. It's one of those challenges that pushed me. And so it's my first time running the stage on the stream last night. I got to the end of it and I was absolutely exhausted by the end. I thought, wow, that is really something. And these drivers have to be super fit to not only have the skill and the intensity mentally and physically, but you're on the limit. There's a lot of danger around you. You need to be alert 100% of the time to everything going on. And as I say, when you're racing, you're thinking about nothing but exactly what you need to think about. If your mind ever wanders in racing, you're not going to make it. You're going to crash. Something's going to go wrong. So you've got to keep your focus. And for rally drivers, that's 110% focus on everything going on around them, as well as some car preservation as well, and looking after those tyres at times. Being smooth is key. At the same time, you need to be aggressive to get the most out of your car on some of these twisty, turny sort of curves as you work your way up the mountain. So another impressive addition in terms of the Acropolis rally. I haven't run the epic stages yet. I will be running those on a stream. I'm going to run the earlier stages a bit more, really get into it. But we've seen some great stages added to the game this year. I mentioned Croatia and Estonia. They are both excellent rallies and just tracks I just want to run again and again and again, and I haven't got bored with them yet, and I never will. So fantastic work by the team throughout. I was really, you can tell by my driving that I was understanding the car, and if I was making mistakes, it was down to me, not the game. So there was again, always impressed with the steps forward that have been made and keeping the faith there with Kiloton, doing a great job. Now, the other key element I looked at last night was the anniversary mode. And wow, what an anniversary mode. All of these cars, all of these WRC champions, all in one package. We've never seen anything remotely like this before. Very impressive throughout. I had to catch up on a couple of older challenges that I hadn't completed with Colin McRae and Tommy Mankinen last night as well. Got through those. But of course we have the addition in the free DLC this month. We have Didier Auriol racing there in the Toyota Celica Turbo. Legendary car there in Rally Argentina 94. Now, I was pleased to see this rally come back, or at least the stage from it back in the game. It's one of my favourite rallies that was added to WRC. And of course, when I was in the WRC Esports, last year, it was the stage where I managed to pull a big lead back and nearly end up winning the tournament. It's rugged, it's twisty, it's technical, it's narrow. It's everything I like in a rally. It's got some flowing sections, it's got some not flowing, but it's everything I like about testing a rally driver. It's just a real challenge driving Argentina. Great to have that back. And of course in Rally Argentina 2004, Carlos Sainz as well in Citroen Zara. We have Rally Germany 2002 with Sebastian Loeb. Again, a stage I haven't run in some time. I haven't run it for a few years and I couldn't remember anything from the stage at all, but managed to luckily be quick on some sections where I could vaguely remember it, and that gave me just enough speed to make a mistake and come through that and secure that section as well. And then of course we have the Safari Rally with Richard Burns, the late great Richard Burns, Robert Reed there in the Subaru Impreza. Wow, I mean, there's still a feeling, when I drive some of these cars, it reminds me of watching rally at the time, of how big rally was in the UK, and it was much bigger back then in the days of Richard Burns, Tommy Mankin and Colin McRae, legends for us in the UK of the sport, and it was such a huge audience, it was such a big thing. It was still exciting to have those memories. And Jari-Matti Latvala in his Volkswagen Polo R, of course, in Rally Mexico, which made a return. When did I last play that? In WRC 7, I remember playing that, and of course that stage has been brought up to date. And with the new handling, I'm able to go back to these older stages that I've enjoyed and get so much more out of them. It's really nice to go back to these old stages. They're so much more flowing than they were before. The car is so much more easily able to position it where you want to position it. Constantly impressed with that. There's always work to do. No doubt I'll be giving some feedback on various elements in terms of improvements, but it's great to see it all coming together. And all of these challenges form part of an epic selection in terms of the anniversary mode. I mean, the idea of this being done on this scale, there are other games that have had classic cars in, but they've never had a list of champions this big with machinery this special all in one package. It's just not been done in this way before, so forging new ground in every way, and that's what I've been really pleased about my time on it so far. So the November update is a very welcome update to WRC 10. It continues to show the work the team have been doing, and I'm continue to be impressed by it. There is one more update to follow in January, which will add a couple more elements regarding the esports, and I think that's about it. I don't think there's any more rallies now, but I will double check that and come back to you guys. And then besides that, really, I'm just going to be playing a lot of rally on the streams, really getting into all of that and just building up a bit of community. If you're watching, it'd be great to have more of you guys saying hello on the streams. And then I'm just deciding on what to do with teams and online multiplayer and getting involved with various things there as well. So it's been great fun so far on WRC. I haven't done nearly as much content on it due to various reasons that have kept me off my rig in September as I've wanted to. But I'm hoping to spend more time doing WRC over the course of the next few months. I'm really enjoying it and making the most of it while we have this great game, and looking forward to Kiloton's final game in this foray, and then a really detailed look back essentially on all the work that's been done. One other last thing, of course, is club mode, which has had some improvements this recently as well. I haven't tested that yet, but I will do actually. I'll take a look at that possibly on a stream. We'll go into that in more detail. But wonderful work by everybody at Kiloton. Continue to enjoy it. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments in terms of also in terms of improvements. If there are elements that are not in WRC that you'd like to see added or improved, please do add that in the comments. It always helps the developers in terms of knowing what you guys are wanting and where the game can be improved here and there. But that's it from me for now. As ever, more soon. Hello viewers, well thanks for watching the video today. Do like and subscribe, it supports what we do. Do become a YouTube member. YouTube Patreon supports all of our content you see on the channel, and of course lots of gaming from retro to modern games. I love it all in terms of racing action. So click on one of the two videos just there to find out more.